Well, buckle up, viewers. We've got a hard one to do. Very, very gut punching, and I'm sure it's going to hit a lot of you guys. So, be in a good place when you're watching this video. So, I have received more information about Dave the Medium, who's in Sydney, or he's in Australia. Well, in the moment he's in Sydney, Australia, doing um, readings at the Sydney Opera House, October 18th, 2025. And our friend who is in the comments, hey Sebastian, has sent me this, and he is been sending me many things, but he isn't someone who was part of this group, this team, before he started watching my videos. He started watching the videos and then just was so upset that he wanted to do something that he started learning how to do it and how best to get the information to me. So he's done all this research. So kudos to him. So I'm going to talk about it. And as I said, it's very painful. I reached out to the young woman who is involved in this, and I can't get her a message. Her account on Instagram does not allow for messages from people, new accounts, new people she doesn't know. So I'm it really hurts me that I can't have that conversation with her. And I started to, and then when I hit send, it wouldn't go through. So if somebody else knows how to do this, please do. But I'm going to reveal it. It's a public video. She's posted publicly. Her Instagram posts are all public. And, we have to learn. As much as it hurts me to know that even if she watched this, which I really doubt she'll ever watch this, or her mom, it might hurt her. And I completely understand that. That's the nature of what I do. And as painful as that is, and as much as I understand it and I sympathize with her, I have to understand that this man needs to stop. And they need to stop allowing him into venues. And no way is that going to happen unless we call him out and with the evidence. Okay. So I'm going to leave you links in the description of this video so that you can follow the whole thing. I just watched the video. I really don't want to show you the entire video, but I can give you the links to it. I should download the video too to make sure it doesn't go away. But there are two videos. There's one on TikTok and there's one on YouTube under Dave the Medium's account. So this guy has 6,000 subscribers. That's way more than I have. But then again, this guy says he's communicating with the dead. Really? 6,000 subscribers is the best you could do. He has 212 likes on the video. It's been out for 2 weeks. The video has 6,000 views. He personally has 8,000 subscribers to his channel. And still, that's nothing if you can communicate with the dead, right? We all know this. We've talked about this zillions of times. If you could communicate with the dead, you would be the most powerful person on earth, especially the detail this guy says he gets. And it is extreme detail, which is how we know he's hot reading. So all it takes is for us to find out who it is he's reading in the audience, and then go and look at their social media and see if it relates. And this is right there. Okay, so let's see. Where should we start? 12 comments. I should show you the video on TikTok because it's 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And then I'll go and I'll show you then I'll go show you who she is and the posts and so on.
Daughter, don't tell me you're
Trying to get these.
Now, daughter, don't.
These things are interesting. When you click on something on TikTok, it just immediately starts playing. I'm trying to get it so.
Now, daughter.
All right. So the first words he says is, now, daughter, don't tell me your name, because it doesn't want to go to the beginning. And I don't want to keep looping this thing for you. This is a TikTok video. It's only a couple weeks old. It is from him, Dave the Medium, as you can see, uploaded on the 31st of October. Should give him a follow. Okay, a humorous, recently departed man connecting with his wife and daughter to validate a lot of things for them and send his love from the afterlife. Coming home reunion. Okay. I yeah. Okay. So he just clipped this because he thinks this is really good. So now he's edited it for time reasons. And I get that. 25,000 likes. Jeez. Okay, here we go.
Don't tell me your name just yet, but is it named after a city or a country?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect, good. Still got it. Says your name, it says you're here. What's your name if you don't mind me asking?
Sydney.
Why couldn't I work that one out? In my head I was like, opera? That was literally the easiest get for me to get. And I'm just like, so we'll get that cut over the videography. Know that your husband/father is making his presence very, very clear. Your husband wants you to know that he's so thankful for you for putting your life on hold to take care of me. And he says, I can't put into words what an honour it is to have her as my wife, Dave. He says, but as time went on, he says, I couldn't actually love her anymore if I tried. And he says, the way in which she cared for me. And he says, Dave, she literally did it all.
Literally.
Yeah, like, where does Mark connect with you?
His name's Marcus.
Perfect. He says, I don't snore now. And he says, stop watching shit on TV. Whatever you're watching, I'm probably going to enjoy it, to be fair. But like,
We know what he's talking about.
oh, that's why. Every time I go to have a sip of water, you would... Does that make sense?
Yes.
Totally.
Because when I said I felt sick after water, you're like, oh, so did he.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
perfect.
had esophageal cancer and couldn't swallow.
Do you have a son that plays rugby?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is me playing rugby. He says, Dave, I love when Spirit says this. He says, my children are only as good as they are because of her. And he says, I don't know how I got so fortunate to find her and trap her. He says, you are her, you know. He says, you have all the strengths and the potentials to outdo us all. He says, I just want my daughter to see the woman that we can all see. And he says, so from today onwards, he says, I'm going to you can't say that. He says, I'm going to blackmail you. He says, I want you to do everything you want and everything you deserve. And your dad would totally do this, but he says, if she doesn't, it's going to make me unhappy. So he's like literally guilting you into just living life.
All right. So I'm not going to share the photos that are on her Instagram page. If you want to go find them, you can find them. I have, it's very easy to find. But, oh, darn it, where'd it go? I will show you her post because she made it public. And that way you can see this. TikTok is so strange to me. I mean, I can use it no problem, and I have things up there, but it is a little odd. Sebastian is really doing a lot. I tell you, this is incredible. So you guys can't hear it right now, but I have a cat screaming at me. Here it is.
Now, daughter, don't.
Okay. Here's what I want to show you. So he's got pinned here a comment from Sydney, Topine. Such a special moment for both of us. You have a true gift, and thank you for sharing it with us. Still so speechless at how accurate everything that came through was. Now I can try, this is from October 31st. I can try leaving her a comment there, but I'm sure it's just going to be erased. And it's got 14 replies. Sydney, thank you so much. I'm so happy you're on TikTok to see this. Love being able to speak with you and your mom. Thank you for being there. And please send my love to the family, X. All right. And then he's got some other comments. So I can try writing there. But anyway, if you click on her her Instagram page and you go to, or you look for her on Instagram, it's going to come up Sydney, and it's going to come up with the last name isn't Topine. It's going to come up Sydney. Yeah, Sydney. No, you have to go to, okay, you have to go to Instagram to find her. So if
Now,
you
daughter,
click,
don't tell me your name.
so if you click on her TikTok page, you're just going to get a very small little blip of who she is. But if you take her name and put it into Instagram, that's where you'll find all of the information. And her last name she's using is not Topine. But you put Sydney in that last name, it's going to come up with a woman, and it's Sydney Page, I think. Let me look at my notes real quick. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, I think it's Sydney Page, Paige. Anyway, if you go to her page and be very respectful, you can look. She's got publicly everything on here that is said. And I'm going to read this to you what I have screenshots of, because of course I'm going to save everything. Everything's saved. I don't leave it to chance that these things will be around again. So here's the things that Sebastian has shown me. I have the screenshots of, because they're all on the Instagram page for Sydney. And I didn't show you the whole reading, obviously, but I'm going to put a link to the entire reading. It's 10 minutes or something like that. It's really gut wrenching. Yeah, Sydney Page, Paige. So her posts date back from October 4th, and this reading that she got was on October 18th. So he went just to the fresh stuff in her TikTok page. He says there's many examples, but here are some of the best ones. Okay, so attachments he sent me are showing dad's weight loss and that dad is in a wheelchair. And then David, the medium, says, I'm on my feet again, and references dad's weight loss, which is easy to see by comparing the images with the earlier photos of dad. Another attachment he sent me shows dad with his mustache and a hat. And David, the medium, says, mentions a mustache and an old English man's hat. Okay. On the Instagram page, the name Mark or Marcus is mentioned in many posts that Sydney puts up. And during the reading, Dave, the medium, says, who's Mark? And how does that relate to you? And Jody, that's the mother, because it's a mother and daughter in the audience at the Sydney Opera House. I know it's confusing because the woman's name is Sydney. The daughter's name is Sydney. Same spelling. And he mentions Mark, and then Jody, the wife of Mark, says his name is Marcus. All right, so the attachments that Sebastian has sent me shows dad's illness was 6 months. It was cancer. And Jody says it was, you don't know how to pronounce it. I can't spell it. I can't say this word. Don't make fun of me, you guys. ESOPHAGEAL, cancer, and then also became stomach cancer, esophageal. And Dave says, and Dave the medium wrote that he's trying to drink water, that Dave the medium is trying to drink water, but that Marcus, who he says he's connecting with, is also having trouble drinking water. And then of course, visually, Sydney and Jody react, because what the heck? And Jody says, my husband couldn't drink water, and near the end, he was having a lot of trouble because of the kind of cancer he had. All right. There's a picture of Sydney wearing various necklaces, and David, the medium, mentions the necklaces and the cross necklace. There are pictures of young men, adults playing rugby. And David the medium mentions rugby a lot, and that one of the brothers of Sydney plays rugby. There were pictures of, oh my gosh, this can't be true. Oh, no, we have to see this. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this out of this folder. So Dave the medium says at one point, Dave the medium at one point says, are there pictures of sand that you were looking at? And they looked a little confused at first. And then he says, he's talking about the Gold Coast, which is a place in Australia. And then he says, are they on the wall? And Jody's like, yes, they're on the wall. And he says, right by the TV. And she says, yeah, by the TV. And he says, oh, it's my ashes are right there next to the TV, next to the pictures on the wall. Okay, let's look at this. Let me see if I need to edit this picture a little bit before I show you. Hold on. It wasn't exactly what I thought, but it's pretty good. He's talking about the TV on the screen and family photos. Okay, Sebastian says there's so many pictures of dogs. No wonder David's memory is playing tricks on him, because there are a lot of dogs. And I'm going to show you something else in a minute. Just hold that thought. Okay. So let me show you this little bit that is not necessarily relevant to Jody and Sydney's reading, but it's relevant to, is he using an earpiece? I don't think so. I don't think you need to. I think you can get all this information with just having a good memory. You get your information over doing research. You find out that they have a ticket. Numerous ways that a psychic can know how they got the ticket. I mean, they can get it from a lot of different places. It's not difficult. I've done it myself. It's we've seen lots of mediums that do this. So however he's doing it, he is doing it. Okay, let me get to this point where he's done with his reading with her, Jody and Sydney. And what he's going to do is he's going to walk off stage. Now we see him entering also from on stage. I'll show you that in a second. Now I'll give you a link to this so you can see it for yourself. Watch.
Massey, I'm losing my breath again. Sorry. There's a lot of smokers in the room in spirit. Every time I take a breath in, it's like I'm smoking weed. Anyone from Byron Bay? Probably is, actually. But yeah, from everyone up here and from me, massive kiss.
Thank you so
I'm just
much.
going to go I'll be right back again. Sorry, I'm losing my breath. I'm sorry, just coughing. Spirit keeps telling me to check my phone as well, and I'm like, I don't think we're missing anything here. My brother just texted me. I was like, now's not the time. Already? What's the time? Oh, it's all right. We'll be here all night. It's good.
Okay, so I'm not saying that he's going off screen to get a bottle of water that he isn't drinking until he walks back in. But and he said he looked at his phone. So I'm not saying that there are notes on his phone, but I'm saying that he's about to do the next reading. And wouldn't it be convenient if the notes were on his phone that he just looked at? That's what I'm saying. It would be convenient. I'm not saying that's how he would do it. I'm saying that would be an interesting way of doing it instead of having an earpiece. I'm going to show you this. See if I can do this without. Let's see where it is. Sorry, you guys. I am not the queen of editing. I mean, I could do it, but I would put out like almost no content. I think you guys would rather have the content than having the perfect videos with all the perfect stuff in it. Here we go. So he's just finished giving a reading to some more women. Of course, they're women. And his throat is, I guess, a problem. So let's go over there.
Get a drink in. Sorry, I'll be right back. Oh, pardon me. All right.
I want to look at that one more time. Watch this. Let's see.
They're rarely watching over the whole circle. Thank you. I just need to quickly get a drink in. Sorry, I'll be right back. Oh, pardon me. All right.
So this is right before he does the reading with Jody and Sydney. He goes off. He says he's getting a drink of water. I don't know. You tell me. Does that look funny? Like he's reaching really far? And then you hear the sound of the water, where it's being squeezed. And then he sets it down right next to the curtain. So why does he, when he goes to get the next drink of water after the reading with Sydney and Jody, why is he checking his phone? He says, "Oh, I was told to check my phone." Why even say that? Let's look at this exit again. Just curious here.
But yeah, from everyone up here and from me, massive kiss.
Thank you
I'm just
so
gonna
much.
go get a drink. I'll be right back again. Sorry, I'm losing my breath.
The water is right there next to the curtain, right next to his right
Sorry,
foot.
just coughing.
Because we saw him set it down there.
Spirit keeps telling me to check my phone as well, and I'm like, I don't think we're missing anything here.
Sets it down, his phone. And now he's
My
picking up
brother
the
just
water.
texted me. I was like, now's not the time. Already.
That's odd, the way he's picking up that water, because the water was next to the curtain. We saw him set it down. Anyway, I'll let you guys play with that. But I'm not saying that's how he's doing the memorization. He doesn't have to memorize as much. I mean, he gets the information, and then you just go to your notes app on your phone and you just like, okay, this, I'm going to cover. It wouldn't be difficult, right? No, it wouldn't be difficult at all. So I wanted to make sure I pointed that out to you. There is a lot of laughter in there. He's very good with his hot reading. He's better than some I've seen. He certainly is way better than Dean the medium, who just rattles off birthdays and stuff. At least this guy tells stories. This is really good, actually. He's very charismatic. He does a lot of laughter. There's a lot of, he keeps the audience engaged. But it is way too much. I mean, the detail he gets, let me see. I'll read it to you since, okay. He's standing on stage. He's standing there and he says, "My wife, Jody, with your daughter." First, he says, somebody in this section here. "My wife, Jody, with her daughter, with your daughter." And then somebody raises their hand. And then he's like, okay. So he waits until they bring the microphone over to Jody and her daughter. And then he says, "Don't tell me your name," speaking to the daughter, but is it named after a city or a country or county? I don't know. She says, "Yes." And he says, your husband and father is making his presence very clear. He wants to know where the boys are. Do you have sons? And she says, yes. He says, I'm back on my feet again. And the pictures show him in a wheelchair and compression socks and all these different kinds of things. And then he asks, does he have a mustache? And Jody says, yes. The pictures show him with a mustache. He says, do you connect with the name Ernie? Which was, I guess, earlier in the show, he had talked about Bert and Ernie. And I don't know if there was a connection there or not, but she says, yes, I connect with Ernie. And he's Dave the medium says, that would be father or father-in-law. And the woman says, father. And then there's a lot of platitudes. It just really makes this like your heart-wrenching to see, because you know what he's doing. You know what Dave the medium is doing to this mother and daughter. We know what is going on and what he's done and what he's doing to them. And he goes on and on and on about, oh, he loved you and you took great care of him. And oh my gosh, he's so lucky to have you. And he's telling me how much he loves you and how much on and on. It's just platitude after platitude. Did he wear a hat? And they were kind of confused about that. And then how do you connect to Mark? And she says, oh, well, his name is Marcus. And then he says, your father wants to sort out your love life. He says that to Sydney. And then Sydney got really kind of embarrassed. And so kind of Dave just moved away from that. And then he says, Marcus really gets along really well with Ernie. And there's an older female coming along. Your mother, Jody. Is there something about a necklace? Who has a necklace? And Sydney says she has a necklace. And he's like, well, was it handed down to you or was it given to you? And Sydney's like, no. And then he says, what's this about a necklace with a cross, which is in the photos on Sydney's page? She goes, oh, well, that was a relationship I had that needs to be sorted out. He gave me the cross. And so it looks like a hit, but the pictures are up on Instagram and Dave didn't know how she got the necklace, where she got it from. He just guessed it might have come from somebody else. Dad had cancer, and Dad doesn't snore now. Stop watching shit on TV. Sip of water. Platitudes. Okay. And then, oh my God, I forgot this part. I'm glad I wrote this down. I try to do transcripts whenever I did this. It makes me slow down and think about what is being said. And I can remember it better once I see it. So Dave the medium has the effing nerve to tell this woman and her daughter that when a person is getting ready to die, when they know their spirit or essence or good Lord, who knows what crap he's making up, has made the decision that it's going to die, and nothing can be done to not have them die. And he said, if Marcus had not died of cancer, this horrible cancer that he had that took a huge toll for at least 6 months on the family, just horrendous, where he cannot swallow and his stomach is riddled with cancer. And he's just the indignities that are given to him. And Matt is talking about how he had accidents, and how the mother had to clean it up and on and on. So if he had not died from this cancer, this horrible cancer for 6 months, he would have slipped on a banana pill or something and died. Can you believe this? This guy has an effing nerve to say that. So no free will, I guess. Just, well, if he didn't die this way, he would have died another way. He was going to die. So you couldn't have done anything. This was it. It's like mind blowing to me. And the audience is tittling with laughter and they're like, oh, okay. Oh, we're just gobbly. Oh, we're so into it here. Whoa. I have a lot of pity for people out there. Absolutely. They're conditioned to believe this. And it sounds very plausible that if you believe in life after death, that it's possible to communicate with the dead. Somebody must be able to. But my gosh, I can't even believe it. There is a woman sitting in this audience right in front of these Jody and Sydney, and she's sitting there texting. She's got a total solid face, and I'm thinking, I don't think she's buying this. She's like, yeah, she's going, why did I waste my money on this? Can I just get up and walk out now? She's not turning around and smiling or like crying or anything. She's just like this. Maybe she's taking notes. I don't know. That sounds like me at the Matt Fraser event I did in October. Oh my gosh, it was October 2024. It's already been a year. I keep thinking October like it was just a few months ago. October was a few months ago. I'm recording this November 13th, but it's a year later now. Just like that. Wow. Okay. I know I said I wasn't going to show you this video. You can look at it yourself, but here I'm reading it off. And he talks about how Jody's son, who plays rugby, has a girlfriend, and they're a very attractive couple. He asks her, Jody, what is your mother's name? What does it start with? Don't tell me the name. And she says R. And he couldn't remember it. He's like, Robin? No, it's not Robin. I think it's because he couldn't remember it. He glanced at his notes and he just, it wasn't coming up. He thought maybe if she gave him the name, the first initial, it would come up and he'd be able to guess it. It'd come back. That's what I think. It doesn't mean that's what happened. And more platitudes, and that you're the only daughter, and there's a dog coming through. And then he goes on to some elaborate stuff about dogs. And now here's another thing I want to show you or tell you. Matt Fraser does this kind of thing too. And a lot of the mediums do. They are not getting a hit on something right at the moment. So they all call it something different. I think Teresa Caputo says hop, skip, and jump. Chip Coffee calls it something else, hop, skipping or something. I don't know. They all have like different phrases for this. So what Dave the medium does at the end of his reading is he's like got some leftover whatever in his mind, crap in his mind about what he wants to say to people. So he says, okay, you people right behind Jody and Sydney, he says, hang on to a microphone, don't hand it off. But the people right behind you, can you relate to somebody whose name is Karen? And nobody reacts. And he goes, how about the people directly in front? Do you relate to Karen? Or I think then he starts talking about some kind of dog breed. Do you relate to any of that? And I don't think anybody reacted. And then he goes, okay, your dad's sending you kisses. And then he goes off stage to go look at his phone. So I don't know if this is common. I have not been to Sydney. Maybe the Sydney skeptics should, or not Sydney, because I think he's located in Melbourne. But maybe the Australian skeptics should go check this guy out and let's see what he's doing. Because I'm not over there right now, but I think that maybe somebody needs to be on it. I was talking to my very good friend, Richard Saunders, who has Australian Skeptic podcast. I did an interview with him recently about some of the other stuff that I'm doing concerning the psychic world. And I mentioned Dave the psychic, Dave the medium. He goes, oh yeah, we know him. I think he's actually in Melbourne. I'm like, really? I've never heard of him before. He's like, yeah. And I'm thinking, he's a hot reader. You guys should be all over this. So I'm not shaming you guys there in Australia. Maybe you are onto this. I don't know, but I've just never heard anything about it. But my gosh, he's waiting to be picked. In fact, I have another video that I have to do from Sebastian, Sebastian is nowhere near Australia, by the way. Okay, so that one was really hard. So what I said to Sydney, well, I tried to say to Sydney, and if somebody was to be able to get in touch with Sydney, this is how I would approach it. I would tell her, I would find a way of allowing her to say face first, because it's wrong to come in and saying, you fell for this, don't be silly or whatever. That's just wrong to do. So I told her that I was a paranormal investigator, and I am, and I specialize in psychic mediums, and I do. And I said, you probably are not aware of this, or no, I said, now that some time has passed, it's possible that you have already been made aware of this once you've thought about it. But everything that you had in that reading, and I told her the date and where, like she's forgotten it, was information he got off your social media. All your social media is open. Everybody can see it. He was able to know that you or your mom would be at that event. And then he went through your social media, and everything he said is right there in your public photos. And they're not even that old photos. And he just read them. And then I said, and this is something he's done before. And I have other videos and about this. And it's a common thing called hot reading, where the psychic gets information from somebody beforehand based on knowing that they will be in attendance, maybe even using a seating chart, because he did say, I think in this area, just like Teresa Caputo did. And that, you know, and then I would be very sympathetic. I mean, I've had an awful lot of deaths in my family from cancer too. It's just horrible. And even recently. And, you know, you're caring for your loved one towards the end of their life. It is intense. It is an honor to be able to care for somebody in the last parts of their life, that they trust you enough that you would care for them. And we should all be that lucky, really, you know, especially in your home. We should all be that fortunate that we get to help them go out with some dignity. But yeah, so I totally get it. And I have nothing but sympathy for Jody and Sydney. But we have to have this end. We just cannot keep allowing this and for it to be their memories. I mean, they're going to feel good, like dad was in touch of them and all this, but it's not right to be messing with people's memories like that. It's just wrong. Yeah, I know dad came through and said he loved his mom, his wife, Jody, and he loves his daughter, and to have a happy life and travel and have the best life you possibly can. But I mean, I shouldn't even have to have the words of how it feels to know that somebody has just invaded your privacy, which I did, and Sebastian did. But wow. Anyway, you guys can respond to the comments. I have at least one more video to do on this. This one feels very draining. So comments below and suggestions and help you guys have that you want to give on this. I appreciate it. Take care, everyone.